Good evening, Guardians, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Short Pause Presents Tower Talk. I'm Ben on the other end of the microphone. That's Brent. We are, of course, here on behalf of Short Pause. www.shortpause.com is the website. Follow us on Twitter at the Short Pause. If you like what we do here on Tower Talk, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you always know when we go live. Leave a comment section, or hell, join us live on the show here. We love to see you guys hop into the comments as we're recording here. Tower Talk is our Destiny-focused video discussion series where Brent, you and I hop in here. We talk any and everything in the world of Destiny. We have a damn fine time doing it. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good, buddy. We had a long grind last week with the Iron Banner, and I think we were still trying to recover from that earlier this week, but now I think we shut down the engines, we recharged everything, we're ready to go, and we're ready to talk some Destiny 2, and then we got a lot to play this weekend, but let's talk about all the stuff that's been going on, baby.
Let's do it, man. So yeah, you mentioned last week. So the thing about Destiny 2 Forsaken right now, Brent, is there is no shortage of things to do in this game. No shortage at all. In fact, it's overwhelming every time you turn this game on right now. Like, you go in there, you open up your director, there's things blinking everywhere. You're like, man, do I go do that? Like, oh, maybe I should go get some materials here. Oh, wait, I forgot to grab that bounty. Let me go get that. Oh, man, I haven't even finished the campaign yet. Let me go do this. And oh, Iron Banner's going on right now. Jeez, all right, I got to go play the Crucible. There's literally a million things to do in this game right now at any given moment. And they just keep adding more stuff to do to the game. Let's talk a little bit about what we did last week, though. So, I made a little more progress in the story. I'm still not into the Dreaming City, as crazy as that sounds. And it's because when we last did Tower Talk at the beginning part of last week, I wasn't able to really play as much as I wanted to. So I spent the better part of the latter portion of the last update before the weekly reset, just playing the hell out of Iron Banner, trying to get some of these roles, trying to get some of these bounties completed. And I completed all of the bounties except for the one that required orb generation. Didn't have enough time to really get in there and get that one finished out. That one's an incredibly difficult one to accomplish. But man, was able to get all the other ones done. Got my hands on a full set of Iron Banner gear. Got the entire collection of guns. I didn't get the god roll on any of them yet, so that's what I'll be working on once it rolls back around again. Because, dude, there are some sweet rolls available for these guns. Like, you can really get some kick-ass weapons if you get the right roll with these Iron Banner weapons. So, first and foremost, at the front of my mind is getting the god roll on that pulse rifle that's in there, the Claws of the Wolf. That thing is sick. That thing is nasty. And if I get the right roll on it, that's got full auto. It's on, baby. I'm in there. It's on like Donkey Kong.
What do you want to complement the full auto?
Need ricochet rounds, and for the stability, need the stability masterwork as well. Want to get that stability built up. Want to be able to add a counterbalance mod to it to kind of flatten it out. And once you do all that and you get outlaw on that thing, it compensates for the weakest part of that gun, which is its reload speed. So if you have all that going, Brent, you got a nasty sick pulse rifle that you can take into the Crucible for sure, and even into PvE as well. But I was watching a video from Astacross, and he compared it to the Clever Dragon, which was one of my absolute favorite weapons in the original Destiny. And that's one of the cool things about Iron Banner right now in Forsaken, at least this first go around, is there's legitimately some good gear to get in there and try to get your hands on some like game-changing gear if you can get the right stuff. And that's how it was in Iron Banner, like in Destiny 1. I think it was one of the last Iron Banners they had, but being able to get the Clever Dragon and the Distant Star, that sick scout rifle with full auto. Like, there were some great weapons in Iron Banner at the end of Destiny 1, and now there's some great weapons available in the Iron Banner in Destiny 2. So I can't wait till this thing rolls back around again, man. I can try to get my hands on some of this stuff.
Yeah, I must have got 7 different variations of that pulse rifle, though none of them were the rolls that I needed. I mean, a couple of them were pretty decent, but nothing I would consider even remotely godlike. But yeah, like God, what's the roar of the
roar of the bear?
Roar of the Bear is a sexy rocket launcher, and man, if you can find one with those cluster bombs and tracking, it's game over, because that thing, even without those without those perks, it is still a beefy rocket launcher with its blast radius and its impact. I mean, that thing does some heavy damage in a wide area. So, but I didn't get too many good rolls on that. But no, man, it was a grind though. Like you said, there's a lot of good weapons to grind for. I like the armor set. I think it looks really, really good. Yep. The only problem last week, dude, was again, you know how people have bad luck with RNG? I have bad luck with matchmaking, dude. You caught me on a tyrant of of just biblical proportions because I was just absolutely fed up just getting. I mean, I was seriously playing solid, doing very well, capturing points, trying to get kills. I just could not get paired up with, like, any team that was remotely decent. And it took me, like, 24 or close to – it took me, like, 33 matches to get 10 wins. That's how brutal it was last week. It was just one of those weeks where if I wasn't playing with you or somebody else – it didn't matter who I was getting paired with. I was going up against other clans or going up to just teams that were better suited for Crucible, and that was the only frustrating thing from last week. But that just seems to be my luck with Iron Banner. When they put these awesome bounties in front of me, I just have really bad luck at getting into matches with a solid team that, even though we're not communicating, everyone just has an idea of how to play Control effectively and efficiently, and that just wasn't happening last week. But long story short, I still got the armor set. We completed most of the bounties. I think the orbs almost the only one I came short on. Yep. But everything else, it was a blast, man. There's some changes we're going to talk about here that I think we're going to really like. But overall, last week, it was just nice playing Iron Banner where power mattered again. Sometimes you'd win them, sometimes you'd lose, and you look at their power level and be like, hey, they put in the time. They should have the advantage. I dig it.
And at least for me, the power level difference was noticeable in the Iron Banner. Like, there were guys I would for sure have dropped a lot sooner than I did or I didn't, had my power level been higher. So I was probably a little underleveled compared to most people in the Iron Banner at this point. I went in there, my guy was like, I don't know, 5'10", 5'13", something like that. It seemed like the average guy I was running into was 5'25", 5'20", somewhere around there and up. So, I definitely had my work cut out for me in the Iron Banner, and hoping once this thing rolls back around, I'm up a little bit higher so I can compete a little bit better. But yeah, I definitely felt the difference with the power level mattering in this first version of the Iron Banner. And there's no question that this is a much more competitive, like a much sweatier version of the Iron Banner than we had at any point in the first year of Destiny 2. Like, you are in for some serious competition when you hop into Iron Banner right now with power mattering and with the rewards that are available and some of the rolls you can get on these items. Like, people are in there to get this stuff. So I think for the foreseeable future, the Iron Banner is back to its stature that it had in Destiny 1 as a top-tier Crucible experience. And you better bring the goods if you're going to hop in there now, because that thing, it's not for the faint of heart anymore.
As it should be.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of Iron Banner, making some progress in the game though. I swear to you, I will be in the Dreaming City this week. It's happening. I'm almost there. Just got a couple more things to do, so I will finally be to the end game. But man, I've got things to do in Gambit, things to do in the Crucible. I've really got to get to work on that Redrix's Broadsword quest. Lot to do there. So there's a lot in the game right now. A lot of exotics I don't have. Just so many things to do, man. And Bungie told us with Forsaken, hey, things are gonna change here, man. You guys are gonna have your hobby back and this and that, and they've kept their promise exponentially. There's almost too much stuff to do in Destiny 2 right now. So yeah, so I love it. I love that there's a ton of options. I love that if you are somebody that plays this game literally every single minute of every single day, you're still able to log into this game and have a ton of stuff to do, like every time you turn it on. And part of that, Brent, is the Dreaming City. So as I've mentioned, I'm not in the Dreaming City yet. I will be there soon, though. Mark my words. But the Dreaming City changed once again this week, and this was a big week, Brent, for Destiny 2. And this is one of those weeks that just got the community just jacked up. They were hyped once the update dropped and all this stuff started coming out. I'm sitting on my desk working on Tuesday, and I'm just getting updates left and right about things that are going on in Destiny 2. New exotics are showing up, this and that. I'm like, man, what is going on right now? So apparently, when the game updated on Tuesday, the Dreaming City took its next evolution, the next step in this kind of taken curse that's overtaking the city. So we know when the raid was initially beaten, the curse was unleashed on the Dreaming City. The taken curse is taking its hold of the awoken home world. And once that first started, we got some new missions. We got the update to the blind well, some new patrols. We have obviously the new strike, which I hear is incredible. And I that's another thing, Brent. I haven't played a single strike in Destiny first, not one, not even an old one.
You are such an awesome disappointment right now. It's incredible. Shout out to Fear the Beard. He's in the chat on Twitch. How's it going, Fear?
What up, Beard? Dude, have not even stepped foot onto a strike playing field, which is mind-boggling, honestly, because I love strikes. Some of my favorite things to do in the game, just go in there and just play through a few strikes. Haven't done a single one yet. So
well, I can tell you
old, whatever.
That's going to change because I've hit the second step of the Ace of Spades quest, and I need 250 kills in strike missions. My friend, we're going to be doing a lot of strikes this weekend.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get to the strike playlist finally. So yeah, so all that stuff's going on after you beat the raid, and now we see the next evolution of the Taken Curse this week, and a lot of stuff happened, Brent. So not only do these blights start showing up all over the Dreaming City, but new story missions pop up. So the next part of this Taken Curse, like mini story or whatever that's going on, that popped up. New Ascendant challenges. The most exciting thing, bar none, though, is this new, they're calling it dungeon, that is showing up in this game, the Shattered Throne. And when I saw this thing pop up and I saw people talking about this, I was like, good gosh, I need to get in there and play this. Essentially, Brent, it sounds to me like this is partly based on the groundwork that was laid with the Whisper mission. So essentially, the Shattered Throne is a 3-man raid type of activity. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, there's bosses. There's puzzles, there's jumping sections, there's all the stuff you expect in a raid or in a raid lair in a mini like 3-man form. And I love the idea of this like ultra difficult like dungeon that you can take in there with a standard 3-man fire team and go to work. Obviously we loved the Whisper mission. Like that was an awesome mission, and to see more stuff like that is exciting. I don't know anything about the Shattered Throne. All I see is every single person talking about how badass it is and how at some point I need to get in there and experience this thing. 590 is the recommended light level for this thing. So obviously not even close to experiencing the Shattered Throne. But man, I'm looking forward to that. And if this is a hint of what Bungie's got in store for us, man, just how can you not be excited about the future of Destiny 2? And on top of all of this other stuff that's going on, they dropped a couple more exotics in our lap too. So the Wish Ender has finally made an appearance. It's a part of it is tied into this new dungeon that they've released in the game, and also Malfeasance. That quest has now dropped as well, and it starts with a special Taken boss in Gambit that you've got to get to drop for you. And once you drop that enemy, they'll drop a special item which gets that quest started. So lots of really, really cool stuff going on in Destiny this week. And yeah, just Brent, this game's in a really, really good place right now. I mean, the community just is really excited right now. Like this week, they were hyped off this Shattered Throne mission and the new exotics, and it's just there's a really palpable buzz in the Destiny community right now. It's fun to be a part of. It's fun to be in this game every day, and going through and finding this stuff with the community. It's exciting, man. But dude, talk to me like with what's going on in the Dreamy City. Like, how awesome is this?
Oh, dude, when you first show up there and you see these blights everywhere, you can tell things have taken a turn for the worse. There's a lot to do. There's another story mission that Petra will have ready for you to go through. It's actually a really, really good mission. I really enjoyed that mission. I thought it was a lot of fun. I won't go into it because I know you haven't done it yet, but there are some. It's just, Dan, these missions are just spectacular. I mean, they are really fun to do. They're well set up. There's good pacing. There's good action. Had a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, man, it's just the thing that I want to do, the Shattered Throne, is obviously I'm underpowered for that. But I mean, the fact that the Wish Ender is tied to, and we'll go into the specifics here in a minute about how this is going to rotate in and out. It's very much like the Whisper of the Worm. I mean, it's going to be a very difficult item to attain, but it's going to be worth it once you get to it. I mean, we'll go through, we'll break down kind of the things that you have to do to get this thing. But just, I mean, it's awesome. Here we are 3 weeks after Forsaken has dropped. we just get this update. We think it's just going to be a regular Tuesday update, and just, I mean, the Dreaming City changes. You've got a new story mission. You've got things happening. You've got exotic quests dropping left and right. There is a lot to do in this game, and this is what we want, man. We want these weekly updates to be meaningful. We want to have some cool stuff popping up that we're not expecting, and Bungie is just all over it right now.
I mean, this is what they promised us, right? They were like, the Dreaming City is going to be a very different piece of Destiny content that's going to evolve and change over time. And they've kept true to their word. Each week, this place has changed, and new things have popped into this game. New things that we didn't expect to be there when we bought this game, and like real, like legitimate content is being added to this game as a part of the Dreaming City evolution, and I think that's really, really cool. And one of the things I was worried about was obviously I'm not at the power that I need to be to experience some of these really end game activities. I'm not even in the Dreaming City at this point, so I'm like, man, I'm missing a lot of stuff that's going on right now. But some of my fears were kind of subsided after reading this week at Bungie. So, Bungie starts the post off kind of referring to what's going on in the Dreaming City. The curse on the Dreaming City has grown to its most potent state. As the curse grows stronger, the world changes with it. Some of you discovered a new portal and dove into the Shattered Throne to attack the heart of the curse. You still have until the reset to give it a try. So this is a timed activity. This will go away at the reset. It's an endgame activity that puts your most powerful gear and skills to the test. If you are not quite ready yet, don't worry. The Shattered Throne will return when the curse cycle is at its worst again in 3 weeks. That should give you some time to power up and prepare to explore its depths. So right there, Brent, that gives us an idea of what we can expect the Dreaming City to look like. So if I'm reading this right, from my best guess, it seems like after this week finishes up and the week resets, are we maybe going to go back to what the Dreaming City was like a couple weeks ago? Is that kind of what and then it's gonna kind of rotate in this cycle? I don't know. What's your read on that?
I would say yes, that's probably what they're doing, but Bungie has just changed the way they update this game right now. I mean, they made a big step with Forsaken, so I mean, could things go back to a step back? Yeah, possibly. Maybe it's something that'll just constantly pop up once in a while as they take and try to strengthen their curse on the Dreaming City. But I mean, who knows, dude? I mean, it might be something else next week. That's the beauty of this. Now, we don't know what the reset's going to bring. It could just be a simple reset update. There could be something else beneath the surface that's going to show up, and we're not going to know what the hell's going on. But, based on that right there, I would say that this is going to be kind of like what we see with the Whisper of the Worm. It's going to be something that appears, and then it'll subside for a little while, and then it's going to come back. But, again, I think this is a good idea because it makes an exotic that much more exotic. It's going to be very difficult to obtain, and I dig that. Shout out to Jacob and Mudini in the chat.
What up, fellas?
Mudini says, what's up, boys? What a better way to pass the time with a non-sleeping baby than with some tower talk. Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir.
I agree. That Mudini's a smart man.
He's a smart fella.
He knows what's up. Yeah, so my thing, Brent, is obviously very excited at all of the content that's coming into Destiny 2 Forsaken. But at some point, as somebody who loves to play this game, like I have to be able to catch up to the stuff that they're putting into this game. So it's like at this point, I'm kind of hoping like, all right, let's get the Dreaming City cycle going, and maybe that's the cycle that we have for this season. Like for the season of the Outlaw until December. Like give me a few weeks here where I can catch up and start to do some of this content that you're putting out. So while I love them putting out content every week, I do hope that at some point they're going to pump the brakes on the new stuff that they're pumping into this game, at least for this season, and let us play all of this content that's in the game right now so that I can catch up to it and be able to experience it before they hit us with this next season in December with the Black Armory and all the stuff that's going to come with that. So if I had to guess, though, that's what it seems like. If the Dreaming City is indeed on a 3-week cycle, then we're going to end the 3 weeks after this week. We're going to go kind of back to the beginning. They'll, I can, like you said, I can see some type of a story perspective. Like, hey, we fought back the Taken Curse a little bit, and we're back to kind of the way it was a few weeks ago. And then the Taken Curse expands again, and then it goes back, and maybe it does that for a few weeks until this, like throughout the course of this season. I could definitely see something like that, and I'd be all on board for that because damn it, Brent, I'm not even close to doing a lot of this stuff, and I got a lot of work to do. So I don't want this game to leave me in the dust. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Here's what Jacob thinks, though. Jacob knows his stuff, man. Jacob always does his research, but he says, yes, everything will go back to the same. It's in the lore, and it's stated that the Dreaming City is in a time loop. So, that's the case, then I can see it would rotate in and out. Everything's going to go back to normal, and then it'll just – and that way you don't have to worry about, like you were saying, you don't have to worry about things missing out. You kind of get an idea of what to expect every week, and then once the third week comes around, the curse takes over. Mudini wants to know, can we sing lullabies? No, we can't sing lullabies. But after we're done, man, I'll turn up the Destiny soundtrack a little bit so you can play a little bit of Sanctuary. That's a nice track that'll kind of calm the baby, maybe put him to sleep, maybe put you to sleep. Who knows?
I put myself to sleep.
Put you to sleep for sure, old man.
Yeah, the Destiny 2 soundtrack, it serves so many purposes.
It does.
It could be lullabies. It could be stuff you just rock out to. Something like Sepix Redux. You know, you just rock out to that, or you can put the baby to sleep. Maybe put on some Journey for that. You know, but multi-purpose. Great soundtrack though. What a game. Alluded to some of the things that we have to do to get like Wish Ender and Malfeasance. Now I'm not intimately familiar with these steps to these quests. I just know kind of where they start at. What are we expecting from these things? Is this going to be we had to strap on our big boy pants for this stuff?
I mean, from the Wish Ender, from what I read, it sounds like you start the Shattered Throne mission. You go through it, you beat it, but then you have to go around around the Dreaming City to collect like these orbs or something to come back to the spot, start up the Shattered Throne again. Then you have to do something within the actual mission, and it sounds very deep. Like this isn't just something you just run through the mission and boom, you get the Wish Ender. You're gonna have to put some time into it. And as you mentioned, the power level for this is recommended is 590. There are some beefy guys going to be waiting for you throughout this mission. But they explain it a little bit, but there's a lot to it. It's not just as simple as beating the mission.
Yeah, and that's definitely to be expected. And it's the same thing for Malfeasance. So this Taken boss, you got to wait to drop in Gambit. I don't know how often he comes around, but I was watching a stream, and that dude didn't show up for a while. So I don't know how tough it's going to be to get that one started, but that sounds like a really, really cool gun that I definitely want to get my hands on at some point. So it's just one more tick in the box. Brent, I have one exotic from Forsaken at this point, and there's, 18 of them in the game? Something like that?
Yeah, it's one more than me, so that's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah. One exotic that I just got by chance from the gunsmith of all places for a gunsmith package. So, but yeah, just a lot of work to do, man. But like I said, just really, really exciting time in the game right now. There's just it's a lot of fun right now, having a blast with it. Can't wait to get in there and play some more. Also live right now, and something once again I haven't played, but Breakthrough's live, Brent. It's in the Crucible, and as we mentioned last week, not only is Breakthrough live, but it's bringing a whole bunch of new maps with it too. So we've got like 4 or 5 new maps in the game at this point to go along with Breakthrough. And you know, the feedback that I've read personally about Breakthrough has been great. The video we've watched on it looks like it's going to be really fun. We definitely need to get in here at some point this week. I want to get in here and try out Breakthrough and see what it's all about. Looks like it's going to be a great addition to the Destiny, competitive playlist. What's your take on it, man? Have you got a chance to get in there and play around yet?
I did get to get in there and play around with it, and that is one where it requires teamwork. It requires communication. I jumped in with some randoms, did not go well, but it's a fast-paced game. It's a very intense, taut match, and I just love the premise of it, but I definitely got to get in there with you and like Fear the Beard and Dark Shadow Wolf, Frankie, and whatever, and get in there and try this mission out because it is a lot of fun. It's very, very challenging, though, and there's very little room for error. So I dug what I played. The Citadel map is gorgeous. I absolutely love that map.
On the Citadel?
I did get to play in the Citadel. Yes, it's a great map.
Sweet. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing it out. Wanna definitely spend more time in the Crucible these last few months of the initial season here. There's like I said, some quests I got to do. Want to get in here and experience these new maps, new modes, and that kind of stuff. So definitely we'll have that on the docket in the coming days here. But so outside of that, Brent, some very interesting stuff in this week at Bungie that bears discussion here. First and foremost, let's talk Masterwork cores. So this is one of the things that not only you and I identified as an issue early on, but the community has definitely zeroed in on the fact that Masterwork cores are not just about masterworking guns anymore. They
Right.
are an essential component to this game. You need them anytime you want to infuse any of your weapons or armor, and they are not easy to come by at this point. So obviously that creates an issue as we're trying to upgrade our guns here. So let's check in with what Bungie has to say about this issue. This is from the investment team. So, quote, we have been monitoring the community's feedback concerning masterwork cores and exotic drop rates, which we'll get to in a second. Here is a quick breakdown of our original design goals with some of our plans to address your feedback. So when it comes to those masterwork cores, Brent, their goals for adding masterwork cores to infusion costs were as follows: to make infusing and masterworking a meaningful choice. Infusion and masterwork should not be mutually exclusive. The problems with the current economy. Masterwork cores have a misleading name. When they were created, the definition of a pinnacle item put the emphasis almost entirely on masterworking. We expanded that definition in Forsaken, but we didn't update the currency. There are not enough reliable sources to earn Masterwork cores, which can make deciding what to spend them on too difficult. I agree with that 100%. And their plans for addressing these problems are as follows. First, we have been monitoring core supplies, and the numbers aren't as high as we'd like. We are planning to create more reliable and plentiful core sources. And two, and this is interesting, we are going to rename Masterwork cores, so their purpose is more obvious. So, a couple questions with this, Brent. One, will Masterwork cores simply just be renamed and be something else now, or will we have Masterwork cores and something else? Like, will there be two of those items, or will they just be just kind of taking on another name, as they say here? And two, what might they do to create a more reliable and plentiful core source? I think the obvious answer is to create some type of a bounty where you can earn Masterwork cores. But maybe they start to add it as a reward to some of these other like weekly challenges and things that you do as well. What's your thoughts?
Well, I kind of wonder, and Jacob just said, he's place your bets. What's the new name going to be? I'm not really sure, but like, now are they talking
Fusion
about this
cores or something?
See, that's exactly what I was going to say. Now, if they call them infusion cores, are masterwork cores going to be something else that you use to masterwork a weapon, and then you're going to have infusion cores? Like, are we going to have two separate things now? Or if you call it infusion cores, you're still using masterwork cores to rank up your masterwork.
Well, with the because with the current weapon system, and let me know if I'm right on this, but you have a gun and it drops with a masterwork on it, and from there it's your job to upgrade that masterwork through whatever the cost of it may be. So initially the cost is just glimmer, but as you get up in the tiers there, then they start to request masterwork cores and things like that. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Continue on.
Well, see, that's what I'm just trying to figure out. Like, are we going to get two separate, ways? Are they going to separate this, infusion cores? We'll just call them that for now. Infusion cores is used for infusions. Masterwork cores is used for masterwork. Because, I mean, masterwork cores are still going to be important for masterwork. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, are they going to split this up, or what's going on with this?
I mean, that's the question. If I had to guess just by reading the language here, I would assume that Masterwork cores they're going to be the same exact thing they are now. They're just going to have a new name, and that's gonna go into actually masterworking a gun as well. So if if your gun at tier 6 requires this many masterwork cores, it's now going to take this many infusion cores or whatever they decide to call it. So I don't think that they'll make the economy too complicated. I think it might get a little bit complex if they break these off into two separate things. So if I had to put my money on it right now, and just from reading between the lines here, it simply sounds like they are going to take masterwork cores, rename them, but they will have the same function that they have in the game right now.
Okay. If that's the case, then yes, we need to find out what's going to be more important is how you earn these cores, because you're still going to need a lot of them. If that's the case, if you need them to infuse different guns and different pieces of armor, and you still need them to actually build up the masterwork on the gun, you're still going to need a lot of these. So I'm going to be more interested. I mean, whatever the name is, I don't really care what the name is. I know what the function of it is. I want to know how we can obtain them, how we can earn them. That's the most important thing, and I think you're right. I think bounties is going to be a good spot for it. Maybe add it to weekly or heroic or weekly or daily challenges. You've seen multiple challenges or bounties where you'll see you get legendary gear plus glimmer or whatever this. you could make it. Hey, look, you get if you do. I would see them tying it to weekly challenges as opposed to daily, because I think if you do daily, you're going to earn them too quickly. I know what they want to do. They want to make infusing and whatnot more a big decision. I think if they went with the weekly challenges, I think that way you'd be able, okay, there's a couple weekly challenges. I get a couple cores that way. You can still buy them from Spider. You can still use those consumables that you get once in a while when you dismantle weapons where if you kill a boss at some point, they might drop a core. I actually got one of those the other day. I think if they just find certain ways to implement it, but just not so you can go out and earn 20, 30 of them, a day. I mean, kind of reel it in, keep control of it. But I think, the more important thing, I really don't care what it's called. I think the more important thing is how they're going to help, how they're going to allow us to go out and earn them.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I like all those ideas. That's all the stuff I'm on board with. Another thing they could look at is simply just having them drop more regularly when you dismantle stuff. Because when you dismantle items now, you have a chance to get a Masterwork core. It just doesn't pop up very often. Right. So maybe just simply a tweak to that. I mean, there's lots of loot that's dropping all the time in this game, especially with the armor pieces that you're getting. I mean, you're constantly dismantling helmets and chest pieces and all that kind of stuff. So if you just tweak the drop rate on those dismantled cores a little bit, that might just make a difference right there. So I think there's a lot of different options they can go with. But yeah, gun to my head, my favorite option right now, would be some of the stuff that we just talked about with like bounties, with weekly challenges. I think that's the way to go with this stuff. So the other end of this coin, Brent, is the exotic drop rates. So, we alluded to this earlier in the show, but I have one exotic. Just got it just by fate from a Banshee engram. You have no exotics at this point. And, while we haven't played this game 24 hours a day, every single day since it came out, we've played this game a lot. We've played it as much as our lives would allow us to. And we are getting little to no love on the exotic front. So this is what the investment team has to say about exotic drop rates. So the goals for exotic drop rates are: exotics are intended to be meaningful long-term chases. Finding an exotic should be rare but impactful. The problems with the current exotic drop rates. Right now, we are falling short of the impactful part of our goal. There's nothing exciting or powerful about getting your 4th fighting lion when all you really want is a 2-tailed fox.
Amen.
Dude, I would love to have a 2-tailed fox right now. And their plans for addressing this problem. We plan to increase the chance for exotics to drop something you don't already have. So this is interesting, Brent. So if I'm reading this correctly, it doesn't sound like Bungie is looking to change anything with exotic drop rates. It's going to be the same way it is right now. It's going to be rare, but what they're looking to do is simply just change the probability that you get something new when you do finally get this exotic drop. And if that's the case, I'm very much on board with this. I love the idea of exotics being rare and something that you don't find every single day. You don't have, just the millions of them just falling out of your pores. Like I love the fact that in exotic or in Forsaken, exotics are just that. They're exotic. They are not hanging off of every single tree like they were when this game first came out. When you find an exotic or you get an exotic drop, it is a big deal right now in Forsaken, and I love that. So if they can simply just tweak it so that when you get these exotic drops, you're more likely to get something new, that to me is the perfect solution for this right now.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. Like you said, going out there, I don't like it. I don't want exotics just to be handed out. Exotics are exotic, just like you said. They should be exotic. Not everyone should have them. But yeah, like you mentioned though, the impactful portion of it, when you actually get an exotic, you're like, oh my god, I got the Wish Ender, or I got Malfeasance, or I got something that I've never gotten before. That's the impactful part they're talking about. They want it to be something where you get it, you're like, holy shit, I have not gotten this before. That's awesome. I mean, that's what they want to do. And I think that's the right thing to do in this case. Yeah. Because, exotics should be rare, but you want it to be impactful when you get it. I get what they're saying there, and I dig that.
Yeah, in so much that, they've already said when Xur shows up, he's not bringing any of the new exotics with him. Nope. He's got the old stuff. So they're like, if you want these exotics in Forsaken, you're going to have to work for this stuff. And it's not going to be easy to come by, but I like that, man. It's definitely made the exotics feel that much more meaningful in Forsaken, and I think that's how they should be. So totally on board for that.
So is Fear the Beard. Fear the Beard said, please let exotics be rare. I miss it, and I agree with them 100%.
Yeah. So is that your interpretation of this as well, Brent? It doesn't sound like they're going to change anything with the way exotics drop right now. They're simply going to tweak the probability that you get something new when they do drop. Is that your read on this as well?
That's my read, and I think that's the right way to go about it. I don't want an increase in exotic drops, so JD's in the chat just being I heard they're doing an exotic of Joe Pesci's pistol from Goodfellas. I think it's called the Spider Killer. Oh, my Lord. That would be fantastic, JD.
We'll be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah, but I do think that's the right way to go about it, and I think that's the correct way to read into it.
Nice. So yeah, hopefully that's the case. We'll see how that works in the future and if we get any further clarification on that. But right now, I think that's a safe bet. Now, the other really interesting part of this week at Bungie, Brent, was this talk of the Iron Banner. So we started the show off talking about our experiences in the Iron Banner, and there's some interesting things to discuss here. So this is senior designer Jeremiah Peischel. One of the goals we have for Iron Banner is that it's an opportunity for lower power players to catch up or re-engage in their pursuit of power. Based on your feedback and our analytics, we are not meeting that goal. There are two changes we're making to help resolve this problem. The first is to reduce the completion values for several of the event bounties. Currently, it's very difficult for a lower power player to complete the bounties due to the gameplay disadvantages they experience. So big time changes here. Super kills, the super kill bounty has been reduced to 20 from 25. Match completions bounty has been reduced to 15 from 30. That is a huge change.
That's huge.
Orbs generated, and in fact, we talked about this, Brett, has been reduced to 50 from 100. That was the one change I wanted. I was like, whoo, 100 orbs, that's a lot. If we get that down to 50, I think that's more in line. Match wins reduced from 10 to 7. Precision kills reduced from 100 to 50. Another huge dip. And kills reduced from 250 to 150. Now, Brent, I don't know about you, but I didn't really have a problem with the other bounties outside of the orb bounty. Like I got into Iron Banner a little bit late in the week, and I wasn't generating a whole ton of orbs as I was going through it. And I think I ended with like 29 orbs or something like that created out of the 100, so clearly nowhere near the goal. But I knocked out all the other ones, and I didn't think it was too much to ask. But I don't know, what's your thoughts on them lowering all of the bounty requirements across the board?
I get why they're doing it, and I'm not too mad about it. But at the same time, like you said, I don't know if the match completion one needed to be dropped. I think I think 30 is doable, and plus that has absolutely nothing to do with power. Your power level has nothing to do with match completions. Your power has something to do with match wins, but even then, it's difficult. We saw it took me 33 matches to get 10 wins. Yep. But like precision kills, yes, I understand why that dropped, because if they're higher power, it's more difficult to get that kill. Kills, obviously overall kills, yes. Super kills, I don't know about that, because again, a super pretty much wipes out anybody regardless of their power level. Yeah. So that's another one. I don't know if it was really necessary, but I think the reason that they're doing this, and we'll talk about the second portion of this, is that all bounties will now provide powerful gear. And I think when I was playing it last week doing Iron Banner, there were so many times I'd log in, I was like, dude, I want to get my power up, but I need to get in there and knock these bounties off. These bounties are super, like, they're time consuming, and I can't go in and do the other stuff I want to do to get my power up. Now this kind of alleviates that. This is kind of a remedy for that, because now I can sit there and knock out these bounties and raise my power at the same time. I mean, there was 2 of them that had powerful engrams, but now all of them will. And I think that'll make it a little bit easier for everybody who's trying to, because you don't have to sit there and fight for the time like, crap, I'm lower powered. Should I go do this for like 2 days, but then maybe lose 2 days of Iron Banner where I could be ranking up my bounties? This, now you have powerful engrams tied to every bounty. Now you don't have to worry about, should I go do a couple strikes? Should I go do the daily challenges? I can focus primarily on Iron Banner, and that's what the lower powered people need. They need to get rewards from these bounties.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Brent, that's the other huge part of this. Every single bounty providing powerful gear. That's something that's exciting. We talked about that when we were playing Iron Banner this last go around. They're like, man, it would be awesome if we were actually getting powerful gear from these bounties. And I thought that was how it's going to be at first, which is another reason I'm surprised that they actually lowered the requirements. The fact that they raised all of these rewards to powerful gear and lowered the requirements. I think some of these they could have kept up, upward at their original levels, and maybe even like I said, just looked at the orb one, but all the other ones I thought they pretty much could have kept the same, especially if they're giving powerful gear. If that gives you even more, even more of a reason to get in there and play the Iron Banner. But like you said, it makes sense. being with everything else there is to do in this game, giving you an avenue to get powerful gear in Iron Banner, and then still being able to do some of that other stuff that you want to do, I think makes sense. So, but man, next time Iron Banner rolls around, you got 7 bounties there waiting for you with powerful gear, and you better believe people are going to be in there knocking that stuff out. So definitely going to encourage a large player pool into the Iron Banner once that rolls back around. So that's definitely exciting. Now, the other part of this conversation here, Brent, and this is a very interesting one that we need to have, and I know we have strong opinions about this, but let's read from the Bungie blog here once again. This was the first Iron Banner in Destiny 2 in which power was enabled, as we talked about. We have seen feedback from players who enjoyed this and feedback from players who preferred it when power was normalized. And we talked about this when this happened, but I had a feeling this is going to be a polarizing issue in this game when power levels returned. We will continue to monitor the conversation, but wanted to give you some information on how power affects your damage compared to previous Iron Banner events in Destiny 1. Now, this is something I've always wondered about, Brent. I don't know if I just missed the original explanation about this, but I was super interested to see this. So this is Derek Carroll, PvP lead for Destiny 2. Hey, so you might be interested in what power matters actually means going forward in Iron Banner. In the past, we've published a nice but not exactly straightforward graph pulled straight from the game's content. This time around is no different, although I will take a bit of time to explain what the purple line means to you, the player. So, Brent, do we have this graphic that
I don't have it on here now.
Okay. So, if you have not looked at this yet, go to the Bungie blog, check this out. But they have a graph that basically shows you the ratio or basically how power leveling works. If I'll just read it. They can explain it better than me. So, for example, this is how power level mattering in Iron Banner works. If I'm at the same level as my opponent, my outgoing damage is multiplied by 1, so there is no change from the normal Crucible. So if you're 513, you're playing a guy that's 513, it's just going to be like any normal Crucible match. However, things change once the power levels change. If I'm 100 power below my opponent, my outgoing damage is multiplied by 0.8 or a 20% reduction. If I'm 200 power below my opponent, my outgoing damage is multiplied by 0.5 or a 50% reduction. And I'm really sad about what's happening in this match. So, also, this curve works the other way, of course. So, for example, if you're 20 power above your opponent, you will do a bonus 10% damage against them. So, obviously, and those are just kind of broad numbers, but everything in between applies on that graph there, and it kind of goes up until you meet the opponent at the same power level, and then everything's on a level playing field. But if you're a higher level than the opponent, you have an advantage. You will get a bonus damage buff to your character, and it's huge when you're in the Crucible. Even something as low as 10% makes a world of difference in your time to kill. And so yeah, I just thought that was really interesting, and I had always wondered exactly what that meant and exactly how this worked. In fact, I was thinking about it earlier today for whatever reason. I was thinking about Tower Talk tonight, and I was like, yeah, power matters. What does that actually mean? And then they actually put it into the blog here. But Brent, it sounds to me like, so, Bungie ends this by saying, I hope this explanation helps you to anticipate what is happening out there in the field where numbers and bullets are flying around. All of these changes should be available for the next Iron Banner, and we will continue to monitor your feedback during the next event. So all of this is great, Brent, but I'm a little bit worried when they talk about the feedback they're getting about people not happy about power mattering in Destiny 2. And I don't know what that ratio looks like. Is this a 50-50 split? Are 75% of the player base mad that power level matters and they want it to go back to the way it was? Is it the other way around? Like, what does that ratio look like? If I had to guess, just with no evidence or anything to go off of when I'm saying this, I would guess it's 50-50 in terms of people that like this and people that don't, and that's probably directly related to how much you play this game or how how leveled up your character is. I'm sure that factors into this as well. So Bungie, obviously they're smart and they're taking that into account. But Brent, it sounds like this is going to be this is a discussion that's going to be going on at Bungie. There's a realistic chance in the future we could go back to power level not mattering in Iron Banner if that's what the community wants. And I don't want to see that, man.
A big no.
Yeah.
A big time no. And when we talk about this, man, I hope it's not the same percentage of people that didn't want, that wanted the tracker, the radar back in competitive, but because we know a change will definitely happen. But here's the thing, man, and we saw this with the raid. Okay, when Destiny 1 came to a close, everybody that played that game understood what Iron Banner was. They loved Iron Banner for the power difference. They knew what it was. But Destiny had basically set up saying, here's Iron Banner, this is where power matters. And that was from the start. And everybody was like, okay, cool, I can get down with that. And early on, people were like, man, this sucks, I'm so weak. But people kind of started to understood over time, look, if you're going into Iron Banner, you better have your power up or you're going to be at a disadvantage. And after 3 years, people were like, cool, that's how it is. Even the people that were underpowered, they knew. They didn't complain like, hey, look, if I'm going in there, I'm going to be underpowered, but I'll do the best I can and have fun with it. They understood it. Much like everything else with Destiny 2, when we heard about the raid being too easy or too hard and we want it to be easier. When Destiny 2 launched, they changed a lot of stuff. They catered to a casual audience, and they brought in a whole lot of casual players. And even for the hardcore players, they kind of set a precedence for a year. This is how Iron Banner is. Power doesn't matter. And everyone kind of got set in their mind, okay, this is how it is. And everybody, all the new players and all the casuals that have stuck around, they understand. They think this is what Iron Banner is to them. And now when they go in and they make this change, you and I, we understand what it is. A lot of guys in the chat, they understand what Iron Banner is. This is what we want. But the vocal group that are unhappy with it, they just don't understand what Iron Banner is. And I really hope that Bungie has learned from the mistakes they made from their first year, not to just change shit just because a group of people don't like it. You set the precedent with Destiny 1. Iron Banner power matters. Stick to it. You made a mistake by making it just like the Crucible. The Iron Banner wasn't that important. It was just the same as it, unless you wanted the armor, but it had nothing to set it apart from Crucible. You recognize the error of your ways. You made power matter again. Leave it alone. Let these people who are upset about the difference in power, just let them continue to play it. They'll eventually embrace it once they get their power up. Okay? The Destiny community understood in Destiny 1, Iron Banner, power matters. You took that away. You had a whole new group of players that started playing Destiny 2 and getting settled in that way of playing Iron Banner. You bring it back to the way that the hardcore fans want. Some people are unhappy about it. Tough. Deal with it. If you don't want power to matter, go play Crucible. It's really that simple. But do not change this. Do not remove the power advantage. It's what makes Iron Banner Iron Banner.
I agree with you 100%, man. I love power level mattering in Iron Banner. What I'm unsure of at this point is where the community stands on this, because honestly, man, I don't see a lot of talk about power level. Even before they made the changes in Forsaken, I felt like you and I were the only ones that were talking about power level mattering in Iron Banner or in Trials. When I saw it pop up on the roadmap, I was honestly surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't even think this was even at discussion in the community, because I never see anything about it. I still don't see anything about it. I haven't seen one person say yay or nay or otherwise anything about power level mattering in Iron Banner. So I don't know where this feedback is coming from. I don't know who's providing this, but I do think Bungie has learned from this, Brent. I mean, clearly they made mistakes when Destiny 2 came out, and clearly they've made a complete 180 where we're at with Forsaken right now. I think that they value the feedback from the community very much so, and we see that every single week in the TWAB and the things that they're doing with this game. So I don't think that they would go in and just change power level mattering in Iron Banner willy-nilly if that's not what the community wanted. What I'm just unsure of is, I don't know, once again, if we're in the minority here. I'm with you, man. I wanted the no radar to stay in the competitive playlist. I thought that was cool. But we were in the extreme minority with this, where literally we were like the only two people who wanted this. So everybody else wanted the radar to come back. So I don't know if I just don't have a read on the Crucible and what people want out of this thing, but it could very well be the case, dude, that this is what the community wants, that they want power level not to matter in Iron Banner, and I just might be ignorant of it. That's my worry here.
I'd be shocked. I mean, I'm shocked and disappointed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just shocked and disappointed if they did that. Because like I said, this is what sets Iron Banner apart from everything else. It makes it unique, a unique mode. That's what we want. That's what I want from Destiny. It's. I hope it's not a lot of people, and I hope people who are complaining about it just stop and think about it. Like, look, put my time into it. You'll get your stuff. They're lowering the bounties. You're going to get your powerful gear. You're going to get all the tokens you need to get the armor set. But just I don't understand why they wanted why people are disappointed with this. It's just I'm lower powered. I'm only at 5. I was only at 525, 530 through Iron Banner. I was getting wrecked by 550, 560, 570 people. But I killed my fair share of 560, 570 people as well. I just go with it. I roll with it. I got my armor. I got most of the bounties done. I'm cool with it. That's just how Iron Banner is.
Yeah. Dude, I rolled in there at first, and I just put on, like, whatever my most powerful guns were. I was like, all right, what do I got here to get me to the highest level I can? I'll put this on and this on. I really don't know how these guns work. I'm not very adept with them. Got in there, got waxed a couple of matches. I was like, to hell with this. I'm infusing this thing into Crimson, and I'm just going in here to play with something I know how to work with. So I infused it in there, went in there, and then started wrecking people, man. You know, I got back into the groove, and obviously being underpowered, I was at a disadvantage against a lot of these people, and you know, I died a lot, but I got in there and I did my fair share of work, got my fair share of kills, and you know, it was awesome, man. It just I'm with you. I always loved that about Iron Banner. It made it unique. It made it just fits so well with Destiny. The fact that you put all this time and effort into your character, building up your character, getting all this cool stuff. It just makes sense that they would have a mode that takes advantage of that.
That rewards you for your effort. Rewards you for your effort. And I like what Moudini says, dude. Iron Banner should always be a special thing where power matters. Why would anyone want just regular Crucible again? I agree. Seriously, I want Iron Banner to be special. I want it to be. It only comes around once every 3 or 4 weeks. Yes, I want it to be different. I want it to be special. I want my power to matter, even if I'm underpowered. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think just when you take the package as a whole, I mean, obviously there's the control rules are a little bit different with Iron Banner. There's unique bounties, unique weapons, unique armor. There's all that stuff that makes Iron Banner special. But the power level mattering just really takes it to that next level, takes it into a whole different stratosphere. It really makes it feel like the end game activity that it should feel like. So let's hope that we are not in the minority on this, Brent, and that people want power level to stick around.
Please leave it alone.
A couple final things we're going to touch on here. Just want to put a couple of issues out there in the community so you guys know what's going on. First and foremost, there is a 3-man quest step for the Malfeasance quest titled Darkness and the Light. But apparently there's a bug right now where you can launch into this activity with a fire team of 6 players. So they're working on addressing this issue right now, but they urge you that to proceed with caution if you launch into this activity with more than 3 players. It was designed as a 3-player activity. If you go in there with more than 3 players, you may run into a whole host of performance issues with the game. So in order to alleviate that, just play Darkness of Light with 3 players. I think we can handle that. That's not too much to ask. A couple of other known issues that are worth mentioning here. The Gravetide Summoner bounty, Brent. There's an issue where some players in a fire team don't receive credit for killing the summoner, and they can't replay the adventure. So it's recommended right now that if you choose to do this, you play it solo to get proper credit. Prime engrams from the Crucible are earned, or being earned when you complete matches are for some reason going straight to the postmaster for some people. So they're investigating that.
I've seen that. Yep.
You ran into that issue?
Mm-hmm.
They're investigating an issue where the clan engram for Gambit is not being rewarded as expected. There's an issue with the Wishender's Broadhead perk, which may sometimes not apply exit damage on fast-moving enemies. This is a big issue in the community now. I've seen a lot of people talking about this Wishender not performing the way it was intended. The dismantling of Gambit weapons. They're investigating an issue where some Gambit weapons do not give materials when dismantled. Have you run into that at all?
If I did, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice it, but no, I don't recall that at all.
Gotcha. So there's a couple other things going on as well. To make sure you head on over to the help forum on Bungie's forums and see what's going on if you want to see all the different issues in the game. But those are some of the big ones that are going on right now. So if you're running into any of that stuff, fear not. Those are known, they are being worked on, and they will be repaired at some point in the future.
Dark Shadow Wolf said there are triumphs where you have to solo the dungeon and do it without dying. Are you talking about the Shattered Throne?
He is.
Wow. Going solo and without dying. That is most impressive.
That's the other thing. New triumphs are constantly being added into this game as they add content into the game. So that's one of the other really cool things that they're doing as well. One of the other like things that might fall through the cracks that we don't even realize is going on. That they're adding in all these things to the record books that you can get in there and take a whirl at. But yeah, Brent, that is going to do it for this week in Destiny, man. A lot of stuff going on, a big week for the community. Can't wait to see what next week brings. And dude, we're already almost a month into the Life of Forsaken here, which means we're a month into this season. We've got a couple months left to go. Before we know it, the Black Armory will be here, and we'll be, in the middle of the next season of content with Destiny. This is flying by, dude.
Yeah, it is, and it's a good time, and I'm loving what we're playing. And Bungie continues to surprise us with the secrets that are hidden within the Dreaming City. Like I said, we talked about it. This thing's going to circle out, and we're going to start over fresh, but that doesn't mean they're not going to sneak in something new. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any more new story missions or portals popping up. We really don't know what to expect, and it was just it's just a great time to be a Destiny 2 fan, and there's a lot to do.
This is exactly what we wanted, dude. We wanted a game that was constantly giving us content, constantly being updated, and we have that right now with Destiny 2. It's very scary. I haven't played another game in who knows how long, and don't know when I'll be able to play another game. But like you said, man, it's just a lot of fun being in the world of Destiny right now. It's a super cool world. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. It's just exciting as a Destiny fan. Can't wait to see where it goes from here. And dude, at some point, we're going to get that Penumbra update too, where literally the entire update is just secrets for people to find. So you better believe that's going to be an exciting week when that rolls around, all the stuff that people are going to be coming up with then. So, yeah, should be a really, really fun year of Destiny 2. But that is going to do it for us this week. Brent, Twitter handles are underneath us here. Follow us on Twitter at The Short Pause. Once again, if you like what we do here on Tower Talk, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you always know when we go live. Hop into the comments like all the fine people that are in the comments today. Leave a comment on the video as well. We'd love to hear from you guys in any way, shape, and form. Brent, anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, man, I think we touched on everything we wanted to touch on. Shout out to Jacob, Dark Shadow Wolf, Moudini, Fear to Beard, all you guys and girls that were in the chat. We really appreciate you stopping by and talking to us as we discuss the wonderful thing that is Destiny 2.
Awesome. So, of course, we'll be back next week, next Thursday, with another episode of Tower Talk. So make sure you tune in then. Stay locked into the channel. We'll have lots of streams and maybe some more short takes coming at you. If you haven't watched that yet, go back and watch our short take from last night with our kind of thoughts on what's going on with crossplay and Sony and the industry as a whole. So make sure you check that out. For Brent, I'm Ben. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you guys on the flip side.
See you guys.